In the last year, we've applied to over 70,000 jobs for our clients, and we know a lot about what works and what doesn't in the current job market. One of the things that really upsets me is seeing all these outdated dinosaur career coaches on LinkedIn spewing strategies that worked really well pre-COVID, which absolutely don't work anymore. And one of the best ways to see that this is true is Pathrise, which was one of the biggest companies in the online career coaching space, went completely bankrupt and failed as a business this year because they're relying on these outdated strategies, haven't evolved the way they need to, and you guys are paying the brunt of it. So in this video, we're going to break down the top misconceptions in the job search process so that you understand what doesn't work, what does work, and you can have success in your job search. Let's jump in. My name is Delaney William. I'm the founder of Elevated Tech, and our mission is to help you not only survive, but thrive in the AI transformation, stack remote income streams, and reach financial freedom in years, not decades. So if that sounds amazing, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow our channel. Stay tuned for all our videos. Now let's jump into some value to make sure you understand how to not sabotage your job search this year. The number one lie being told on LinkedIn is to just DM and comment hiring managers on LinkedIn. If you're constantly playing the networking game, things will work out. Here's why this is so not worth your time. The average job posting has at least 300 to 500 applicants, and at least a quarter of those people are reaching out to the recruiter with a generic message, and it gets completely lost in the sea of LinkedIn messages. Is there a downside to doing this? Not objectively, but there's an opportunity cost to every second you spend doing something. If you apply to 20 jobs per day and you spend an extra minute DMing the hiring manager, that's 20 minutes a day you could have used on something high leverage, and the response rate is so low. We see less than a 1% response rate on those type of messages that it's just so not worth your time, and you could reallocate that 20 minutes to working on portfolio projects, improving your personal brand, improving your actual work experience by doing a startup or working on some sort of project that showcases the skills that are going to help you get the next job, or even just practicing your interview process. There's so much better use of time than sending DMs to the recruiters or hiring managers because they will not see them. Are there any outlying cases? Yes. Theoretically, if you're able to come up with something really unique that differentiates you, it can work. But the problem with these DMs is that they're usually so generic and there's no clear intention behind it other than they know you're just trying to get your foot in the door. Unless you can communicate like, oh, I know one of your peers and we have an actual reason to connect, or you can say something that is actually unique and eye-catching and will make them want to respond, then sure, maybe. But if you're just shooting a full cord shot hoping they'll respond, but there's not really anything unique about why they should respond to you because you want to learn more about the role, not going to work. We see so many of our clients doing this, just like Troy, who before working with us was struggling in the job market for 6 months, and within 90 days got 2 unique job offers and accepted them both and tripled his yearly annual income because he stopped doing the things that don't work and started doing the things that do work. Lie number 2 is just keep applying. It's a numbers game. While this can be partially true, and we're a huge proponent of making sure you're getting out the right number of applications, this only works if you've actually already optimized your resume and your LinkedIn. And you can think about the recruiter experience kind of like Google search results. When the recruiters are looking at the 300 applicants or 500 applicants, there might be 30 pages of applicants they're looking at. And if you're not SEO ranking, meaning that you're not on page 1, 2, or 3 because you have all the right keyword structure, formatting, and quantification in your resume, you're likely on page 17, 18, 19, 20, and the recruiter has no idea you exist. So you could spend months and months and months applying, but you haven't optimized your resume and your LinkedIn. So you're just basically throwing those applications into the void. It is so much more worth your time to figure out how to optimize your resume and your LinkedIn so that it not only showcases your value, but it's interpreted well by the AI algorithms that ultimately dictate your success on platforms like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and LinkedIn. Line number 3, I need a certification to stand out. No one cares about certification. Sure, it might theoretically sound nice, but again, when there are 300 to 500 people who apply to that job, they're only going to consider the top maybe 20 candidates, and you can bet that they're only going to look at people who can prove that they've done the job. If you are a hiring manager putting yourself in their shoes, they want to not make a mistake. They want to hire the safe person. The safe person is someone who's actually done the job before. So if you want to break into a new industry or get a promotion, you need to be able to showcase that you've already done that in the past. Just having a certification isn't going to do that because, yeah, theoretically you understand the content, but they are not certain that you can actually execute in a business environment those things which they're demanding. So it's much more worth your time to spend those few months and those extra 5-10 hours a week actually building real portfolio projects for real companies that can showcase you've done it. And you can manufacture that out of thin air. You don't necessarily need to get paid for those services you're delivering, but there are some really fantastic ways, like our client Matt did, to secure an extra 100K plus annually because he was able to showcase he truly does have the skills, and it wasn't done through certifications. It was done by manufacturing real portfolio projects with his spare time because he had a done-for-you job search process. He didn't have to waste time applying. He had his optimized resume and LinkedIn like we talked about already. And because the system was booking him interviews on autopilot, he's able to use his free time to work on those portfolio projects and truly stand out as an expert in the field he was going after. 4 is just keep posting on LinkedIn and people will notice you and see you as a thought leader. I think that is a really fantastic strategy, but it's way, way, way after the 4 pillars, which I'll break down for you in a second here. If you just execute on the 4 pillars, you're gonna get 90% of the way there. If you have not executed on those things, don't waste your time applying because you're missing the really important things, like making sure you're optimizing the algorithm, making sure more recruiters know you even exist as a human applying for these jobs. So what are the 4 pillars if you wanna make sure you're standing out and getting a job in today's remote first environment? First is knowing exactly what job title you're going after. The reason this is important is we've talked about all this AI optimization, making sure you're not getting rejected by the AI algorithms on these different platforms. The way to do that is to know what job title you're going after and optimize your resume and LinkedIn directly around that job title so you have all the right keywords. The algorithm says, oh, this person is the perfect candidate for this exact job title, meaning if you apply to 100 jobs, the average hit rate that you'll land in the first couple pages of applicants is much, much higher. This is the most important thing to do. Once you have the right job title, then it's about the resume and the LinkedIn optimization. It's executing on what I just talked about of how do I not just say, oh, this is a good resume, but really understand what the algorithm is looking for and making sure we're doing all these things perfect. The quantification, the impact, the storytelling, the way we style the bullet points, all these things really matter and impact how the algorithm will interpret you and your resume quality. And last is the volume. Once all that's dialed, you're consistently showing up on page 1 or 2. It's just about ratcheting up the volume, getting out those 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 job applications per month with a automated system. That means you aren't the one spending the time applying. Pay the assistant a few dollars per hour from the Philippines to run your job search, work with a company like us that can do the entire thing for you and hold your hand through the process, but free up your time to do high leverage things like working on your portfolio projects and communicating you are truly an expert that people want to talk to. That's the way to succeed in the job market. And that's how clients of ours like Heather have been able to land awesome remote 6-figure jobs using this exact process. So if you need support in your remote job search, in your income stacking journey, head over to go.elevatedtech.us/book and grab time with us. We're happy to help you get started on this process. See you in the next video.